Hello Create Schools. Today I'm going to talk about the USA Depth Study, and this video is specifically aimed at the economic growth, and it's actually the positive part of the economic growth. So go ahead and get out a piece of paper and a pen and write that information down and join me learning about the economic growth of the United States. Okay, the first thing is to know that there was a huge boom in the United States, and we want to look at the causes of the boom, and that can be in the mnemonic device access. So there were automobiles that really helped with the assembly line. So in 1919 there were only 9 million automobiles, and in 1929 there were 26 million automobiles. There was a cycle of prosperity. So people sold more, they produced more, people had higher wage, and there was more spending. There were consumer goods that people could buy on credit, like fridges, radios, and telephones. There was a lot of entertainment, Hollywood, cinema, jazz clubs, speakeasies. There was the stock market, which was Wall Street, and there were huge skyscrapers. Now I'm going to discuss all of these in details in the next slide, so this way you can keep in mind everything that's going on. And so all of that together is called the Roaring Twenties. And so we'll discuss that more also in the next video. So go ahead and pause and write down your access for the causes of the boom. Okay, also a very, very, very important cause of the boom. It says other causes, so maybe you feel like it's not as much, not as important, but World War I was an extreme benefit to the United States of America. So as the rest of Europe is in disasters and falling apart, the United States started its boom. And the main reason why is because while they were fighting in Europe, some place had to produce food and supplies for the troops. And so the United States made a lot of weapons, they gave a lot of loans, they sold a lot of food, and all of that was to the benefit of the people fighting in World War I. So France and Britain, they bought a lot of their goods through America because they were unable to produce it for yourself. So whoever is dealing the arms basically is the one making the most money. So the United States prospered by selling all of that stuff and producing all of the food to feed everyone. And so at the end of the war, like I say, the other countries were having serious problems. The United States was starting a boom. So an economic boom. So pause here, write this down, and please remember, even though that it's another cause, it is one of the most important causes. And that's Uncle Sam right there, in case you have forgotten. He is the figure that represents the United States, and this is where he comes from, this recruiting poster. I want you for the U.S. Army. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So the Republican economic policies, these, if you don't know them now, believe me, before the test you will know these inside and out, because this is what we write our coursework on. The three policies are laissez-faire, protective tariffs, low taxation, and powerful trust. Laissez-faire basically just means leave alone, hands off. It's a French word, and it literally means leave alone. And basically what happens is the government stays away from what is happening in the businesses and allows the businesses to do what they want in order to make money. Okay, protective tariffs are very interesting. What that is a tax, Steuer, that is placed on a foreign good that is to be shipped to America, and that tax makes that foreign good higher, makes the price of the foreign good higher. So let me explain. Let's say we have two pencils that are exactly the same. One pencil is produced in the United States and it sells for $1. And another pencil comes from China. And China's pencil also would sell for $1 in the United States because that's how much it needs to sell for in order for the company to make the proper profit. But instead of costing $1, there's protective tariff on there, which would make the pencil cost $1.50. So 50 cents more than the other pencil because the tariff, the tax, is put much higher on it since it comes from outside of the country. So which pencil would most people buy? If they're the exact same pencil, the majority of the people would buy the American pencil versus the Chinese pencil that is identical that costs more money. And so that is what a protective tariff does. It encourages Americans to buy the products made in America. Now, on top of that protective tariffs, there are low taxations. And so the companies had to pay less taxes to the government. They also had to pay less taxes to the people when they're buying their goods. And that low taxation actually helped to lower the price. So instead of the price of the pencil to be $1, it actually could have only been 95 cents. So then a 95-cent pencil because of low taxation and a $1.50 pencil because of import tariffs. That makes it even easier. And then the Americans, they had less money, or excuse me, they had more money because they did not have to pay as much taxes to the government as well, and so therefore they were able to buy 2 of the pencils instead of just 1. So that is how the protective tariffs and the low taxation works together. The final one is a powerful trust. And a powerful trust is very hard for people to understand nowadays because we actually have powerful trusts. And so they can't understand why that would be a Republican policy. So for an example, a powerful trust would be Google and that conglomeration. And I believe that conglomeration is not called Google but called Alphabet. And so Alphabet owns tons and tons and tons of different companies: Google, Facebook, WhatsApp. And so that is a powerful trust. It's one company basically owns everything. Okay? And so the reason why that was different is because before World War I, they were not allowed to have powerful trusts. That was illegal. One company could not own a whole bunch of different companies. In fact, the president, Theodore Roosevelt at the time, was known as the trust buster because he enforced the fact that people could not have trusts. Roosevelt then would have been a Democrat, and then also when the Republicans came in, they said, no, we don't want that. We want powerful families or powerful companies to be able to own a whole bunch of different companies, and so therefore they become a powerful trust. That is one policy that is still happening today, as I see by the example of Google. Okay, so I hope you can get that in your head. So what that also means is that the smaller companies could be bought up by the bigger companies. So this would be good for big companies, but not so good for small companies. And here are the 3 presidents. We've got Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Herbert Hoover. And you'll learn lots and lots and lots about Herbert Hoover in the next videos. So go ahead and pause here. Write these notes down. Please just remember, if it's not totally clear now, it will get clearer and clearer and clearer to you, that by the time you come to the tests, this will be a no-brainer. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the first thing of our access is the automobile. Okay, so we've got Henry Ford and the car. So Henry Ford was the pioneer of the assembly line, and that is what makes him so important. Not actually the car itself, not actually the Model T Ford, but the assembly line. What the assembly line could do, it could reduce the amount of time it took from 13 hours to 1 hour and 33 minutes. So where one car used to be able to produce, it's probably about 11 that are produced now. So you guys can check my math there. It's probably less than 11. So here we've got the assembly line. Most of you know what that is because we use it today. A line rolls parts down and people only have to do what they know. It also means that you are trained on less things. This one lady can't make the whole car herself. She has no clue how to do it. Where in the past, one person could do everything. Now she is an expert on doing whatever she's doing with the tires and brakes. And then here these people are working on the undercarriage, and this person over here is working on the final part of the car. So each one of these people have their job. This is the way many things are made nowadays, the assembly line. Here they still had to have a lot of workers in order to do it, but the workers did not have to be specialized. Now the price of the car went down in 1908 to $850 from $850 down to $290 in 1925. So the car became more affordable, and they sold a lot more cars, so they made a lot more money, not per car, but they made more money per overall because they were able to sell more. So that means Ford could double the wages, and so people were getting $5 a day, which is actually quite a bit of money back then. And with people having more money, they could also buy more consumer goods. Again, they also had to pay less taxes from their wages, so they had more money to spend, and this stuff was cheaper, so therefore they could buy more. Okay. And as you can see, this is a lovely spiraling upward. The companies make more money, the people make more money, the people can buy more things, therefore the companies can make more money, therefore the people can make more money, etc., etc., etc. And it goes up lovingly. So assembly lines made everyday products cheaper: toasters, vacuum cleaners, washing machines, telephones, and a whole bunch of other different things. Okay, our next item. Oh, so go ahead and pause here and take these notes. And we'll go on to the next thing. Advertising. So here you have an electric toaster that basically no one's ever heard of before, and so they make it on an assembly line and they try to sell a toaster, and no one wants the toaster because they have no clue what it is. So advertising got the information out there, told the people what was out there and that they wanted, and therefore they're wanting to buy it. So here we've got our toaster, a Toastmaster, an automatic electric toaster. You do not have to watch it. The toast can't burn. Back then, back in the old days, they had to put it over fire and a flame, and it could easily burn, and it was burnt a lot, and toaster was very important to Americans for their breakfasts. Here we've got a washing machine showing how happy the woman is in her lovely dress, able to easily spin the washing machine. Then we've got the Hoover, the vacuum cleaner. So it beats, it sweeps, and it cleans. So you don't have to get up and shake out your rugs anymore and do all of that. And then I just put here is Babe Ruth. We'll talk about Babe Ruth later on, selling a Coca-Cola for 5 cents. Red Rock Cola, not a Coca-Cola. Sorry about that. So anyway, it was aimed at men and women and showed people that the consumer goods were out there available for them. They were advertised on radios, they were advertised in cinemas, and later they were also advertised in billboards. As people got cars, they were able to travel around a whole lot more, and then they would see these signs and everything. They would say, oh, look at that, I want that. And so it's out there, showing people what's out there, then they want to buy it, and then therefore that lovely cycle goes up. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Pause here if you haven't copied this down yet. Okay, credit. So these products come out and people don't actually have enough money to buy these expensive things. People don't have the money that they need for the cars. Note this car price is a lot higher than the car price that I quoted you. So it's either a nicer car or further down the years. So they started having credit that you could buy something. For example, this iron right here, the price was $3.50. You put 50 cents down and then you pay $1 a month, and so therefore they would have the iron in 3 months. Now credit like this is a new thing. People did buy things like in old stores and they would write their names down, then they would have to pay a monthly bill. But credit that specifically I'm going to pay this much per month is a new idea. Here we can buy this refrigerator, only $10 down, and then every 2 years you pay off and you've got this expensive microwave, or excuse me, not microwave, expensive refrigerator. And so consumers were allowed to buy a whole bunch because of credit. They had the advertisement out there, so they knew to buy. You had the assembly line there, so they could make the products even more. And so what about the people living further away that aren't in big cities? They had catalogs. And so the JCPenney's and Sears catalogs were the big catalogs that people had. And so even if you couldn't get to the stores, you could buy something and it would come in the mail. So you paid for it by credit. You saw it with the advertisement. You also had the catalogs to get it out there saying that you want it. Now, unfortunately, this led to a lot of people being in debt. A lot of Americans owed a lot of money, but you know, it's the roaring 20s. It's no big deal. Everyone has money. Everything's good and you can easily make your repayments. They don't know about the stock market crash yet. We do. So anyway, life is really good for most people. So go ahead and pause here, take down these notes about credit, and we'll go on to the next slide. Okay, there was also a huge building boom. So they were building roads. This is what I was telling you about earlier. So when people are getting all of these cars, they've got their roads, and these roads help them get to the factories, their office, their shops, and everything. It helps them get places. It also introduced the new concept of a vacation. Back before here, people really didn't take vacation or go places on vacation. Now with the cars, they could drive much further away with the good roads as well, and they could go to the seaside or they could go somewhere for a vacation and really just enjoy themselves to see, you know, for a while and relax before they come back. So roads really helped the public expand, people going places, seeing more, but it also was the beginning of an era of the skyscraper. So here is this was the tallest building in America. And maybe you can picture, if you've ever seen King Kong, he's right here. This is the top of the Empire State Building is what this is called. And so this is the one, he's there. Okay, so it started a new era also called Art Deco. And that's another topic altogether. So I believe this was the last slide here. Yep, so go ahead and pause and read this down. This is basically your big overview for the economic boom. Go ahead and also look through your book to make sure if you have any other questions. Please let me know. Bye-bye.